And the teacher, she played it off, sat around, through basically the whole class. And then she called, she said, class, she was like, Mr. Smelly has completed his diploma or whatever else. So I was happy and excited, that I had got my GED. And so I went before the board. They had a board, like prisoners have. They had a board, a panel, where you go before the panel. I talked to them. That's all they wanted me to do. Once they knew I got my diploma, it was like, you can go home. So I got released out. And while I was there, I forgot to mention, while I was there, some men came when I was incarcerated. And so now I kind of was walking towards it to see why it was so dark. And as I got closer to it, before I got all the way to the window, I heard a growl.
Wow.
Literally, I heard a growl. It was unlike anything I ever heard in my life.
A demon, brother.
Yes. Now I know that's what it was. And I was on the 5th floor, so it was up, levitated over my room.
Jesus, blood of Jesus.
And my whole body just kind of froze, and I was in shock. I couldn't move. I was like 16 years old. And so I was like paralyzed, scared, and I couldn't move. But I remember one of the ministers had told me that day, he said, to plead the blood of Jesus.
Hey, there you go. That do it
and I said the blood.
The blood of Jesus.
And I didn't know what I was saying, but I repeated what he said. Because I knew that whatever he was saying was going to come. I knew that was my weapon without really understanding. Because he had told me what to do.
The blood of Jesus.
And so I said the blood.
Plead the blood.
And I looked again, and I could see the street lights again. Whatever was there was gone. And so I began to have experiences like that. I was in my room one night, and I felt the angel, what I know now to be an angel, because it was so peaceful. I was asleep. It shook me and woke me up. And I woke up and I looked. And when I looked up, I saw nobody, but I felt the angel's presence. And I knew what it wanted me to do. It was a communication going, a silent communication. God wanted me to get up and pray. And I looked, and I didn't see nothing, but I felt it, and I didn't know, I didn't understand, but God was loving on me and communicating with me then as a 16-year-old boy. And so I got up, and I had never done none of this before in my life. I got up, and I knelt down, and I got on my knees, and I leaned on my bed in a prayer position. I don't even remember if I said anything, but it was a communication going on with me and God. And so things like that, and I got out. I was saved. I had the Spirit on me, but I didn't have no grounding. I didn't have nothing, no foundation. And so when I got out, one of my drug dealing friends was getting money in the streets, and so he ended up coming. Of course, he wanted me back. He wanted me to get back with him. Yeah, so I didn't have no grounding or nothing, so he took me shopping, and rolled me around and took me around some women and stuff. And so I was back. For no long, I had no church home, nothing. So I had nothing to stand on. So before long, I was back doing the same stuff. So I'm going to go forward a little bit. A few years later down the line, I'm still doing the same thing. I got shot again. I was in the after hour and finna leave with a girl, and the girl was messing around with one of the guys that owned the after hour. He got jealous, didn't want to leave with me, and me and some other guys was in there, got into a fight with them in they place. So I could have got killed in there. They pulled a gun out on me, but I was so mad and confrontational, I told them to let me out. And I told them, it's going to be a problem. And so they let me out. Some of the guys there knew me. They knew I was going to get a gun. So when I went to the car, my friend had a gun. I got a gun, but God let it jammed up. I cocked it. I was finna come and start shooting all of it. And I cocked the gun, and it jammed. A bullet was already in the chamber. One jumped in. It was two stuck in there. And then I heard somebody saying, he got a gun. Shoot, shoot. He got a gun. Next thing I know, I heard some loud noise. And I got hit, but God protected me. I didn't get hit nowhere in my upper body. I got hit in both of my feet, and they was about your distance, brother. We was right close to each other. And they started shooting. God has shielded me. I got shot in both of my feet and in my leg. Nearly severed my leg. And I ended up, my car was behind me. I was so mad, I went in my car and got the gun out. And I left my door open. My driver's side door. So I had slugs and the bullets had went past me. Busted, went through my windshield, all through my door, through the back window and everything, and it was above my waist and my body. So the bullets went around me and went all through my car and tore it up.
Only Jesus.
But I only had crack. God was just trying to sit me down. It wasn't unto death. Because he spared me that day again. And I was bedridden. I had a cast on from the top of my leg to the bottom of my feet for maybe like 6 months. I was bedridden, suffering. But he was working on me then to humble me. And I still didn't know. So he graced me through that. And going ahead, again, you know, just going a little further. So I end up, I'm one of the guys in my neighborhood. He ended up getting into some trouble, and he went to church with this girl, and then he ended up, God got him out the trouble, and then he ended up coming back into the neighborhood talking about God. So I was back in the streets, so one day he came talking to me about the Lord, all of us. He came boldly. We was on the corner drinking, partying, selling drugs. He came talking about Jesus Christ. And I would listen to him, and he asked me to go to church with him one day, and I went. And so and then God had, you know, dealt with me again. And I surrendered to him again. And so I began to surrender, you know, before the Lord and to the Lord. And so, then I started getting the foundation. I started getting the foundation because it was good teaching in the church, Trinity Deliverance Church, on East Grand Boulevard, Apostle V.B. Washington. And he was a powerful man of God. And he began to teach me things about the Lord. And so I began to know about warfare and you know, it was angels and demons and you know, and God and, you know, and stuff like that. So, and I began to read the Bible. So I began to get strong in the faith. And so as time went on, I got myself into a marriage that I shouldn't have got into, and then it was coming to an end after 15 years. My ex-wife was having an affair on me with my stepdaughter's boyfriend's father. And so that destroyed me mentally, and I had a breakdown. I literally had a breakdown. Like I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat, I couldn't do nothing. I was messed up. And so she left me there with the kids. I ended up letting her come back after about 3 weeks. I let her back into the house. And so then we began to go back to church and stuff like that. And then a year later, she did it again with somebody else, another guy. And so I was really, really messed up again. So then I told her, you know, it's time for you to go. And I was done with her. We got the divorce. And so after that, that's when God began to manifest himself and reveal himself to me and his love for me. And he began to speak to me through other people, telling me he was going to bless me. He told me, I'm going to make your name great. He told me that he loved me. And he told me that he was going to use me. And so I began to get encouraged, but I had so much disappointment and defeat in me. I didn't know whether my faith was shaking because everything I had was being taken from me. And so now I end up coming into a situation one day. This right here, this logo, G Love. This stands for God's love. One day I was sitting down doing some study and talking with the Lord, and I sketched this G out. And I looped the Love, and I said, this is going to be a symbol for God's love. And so when people see this, they're going to think about God's love. So I had it made on a chain, and I have a clothing line and everything that I started and I established to represent God's love.
And this is your success story.
And this is my success story.
Keep going. That's what
and so now here it is. I end up, one day I was, the guy I deal with to get my clothes made, I was in there in Highland Park, on Woodward, Highland Park, Michigan, on Woodward and Manchester. And it's a place called Your Style Logo. So I went and got my logo made there through the man. And I was in there, and this lady came in, and she asked me who was I, what did I do, or whatever else. So I'm like, I'm telling her, but I'm kind of wondering, like, because she was kind of forward, like, who are you, what you do, this and that. So I began to tell her, and she asked me, what did my logo mean? It was on the shirt. And so I told her it stands for God's love, this, that, and that. And so she said, really? She was like, well, I'm the executive producer at 1340 AM radio. And she said, you really talk well or whatever. She said, you ever been on the radio? I said, yes, because I had been on the radio before. One time I told my testimony at the church, and my late pastor, Apostle V.B. Washington, he had sent it to 103.5 FM, and he had let my testimony be told over the air. And so I told her I had been, yes, and then she said, well, would you like to be on the radio show? Would you like to have your own radio show? And I was like, what? I couldn't believe it. So she was like, would you? I said, yes. She said, when you want to talk about it? I said, we can talk about it right now. So we sat down right in that place, and she told me to meet her at the radio station. I met her, and I signed the contract to have my own radio show.
Amen.
And so God was doing what he promised me he was going to do. He was setting me up for success. And so I've been on that radio station for 1.5 years now. Well, I'm going on 2 years. Since 2016. In May, it'll be 2 years. And so somebody else was listening to my broadcast, one of the men, a person from another radio station. And so he heard me, and he called me from the end of my show. It's a number. And he called me at that number, and he asked me did I want to come over to his radio station, which is 1440 AM. So I end up at another station because somebody heard me. Now, who was doing this?
The Lord.
God.
Thank you, Lord.
I sought none of this out.
Okay.
I ain't trying to be famous. I ain't trying. God doing it. So I'm going to let him do it. I'm going to let God keep making me into whatever he want me to be. And so I went and met that man, and then he asked me when would I like to air. And so I air on Thursdays. Every Thursday I air on 1440 AM, and that was the beginning of that. And then now I'm in the process through meeting people at 1440 AM, which is one of them is London, Washington. She's establishing me to get my own TV show now.
Amen.
So God is really making me into a success.
Yes.
And so I thank God. I'm not doing it. I don't want to do it. I want him to do it. Because if he do it, it's going to last. And it's going to be successful.
Look out, Doc.
So I'm believing God to continue making me successful. And I thank God for this opportunity. And I just want to leave with this. Since it's Black History Month, I want to leave with this saying from Dr. Martin Luther King. Power without, it says power without love. Power without love can be reckless. That's what he said in one of his sayings. He said, power without love can be reckless. So I want to leave with that, and I thank God for this opportunity.
Today, I'm coming forth. I'm Sister Tarace Hurston. I'm coming forth. I am at the Londen D. Harris Washington Trade Enrichment Workshop. And we're here today to talk about African American and about being Black history. In a sense, we want to encourage you to know that in order to go where you need to go, you need to know from which you came. Amen? And I want to give you the number, and then I'm going to give it back out again. The number where she can be reached is 1-248-701-0885. Now, we're going to ask, as we go forth, that if we find any mistakes or anything come forth, count it to my head and not to my heart. Amen? As we come forth, I find that being a Black American woman, I was asked the question, what is the Black experience? And I detail, I am the Black experience because as a Black woman, I'm living on the legacy of a Black woman, of a Black mother, of a Black father, of a Black aunt and sister. And I want to quote something from Frederick Douglass. And as we many know, he was a great writer, advocate, but he also was a man who believed in equality, not just for Black people, but for women, for Native Americans. He believed in equality for all. But he said in a statement, it is easier to build strong children than to repair a broken man. One. Second, if there is no struggle, then there is no progress. And I want to go back a little bit about Black history. My mom and her family came from Birmingham, Alabama. And we know during that time, as society saw what you wanted them to see. But I remember my mom said to me, and I want to encourage us all to know, in order for me, as I went through cancer and all the struggles going through chemo and radiation, it was because of how God taught my mother, her mother taught her to stand on God and his righteousness. Now we know the story about the dogs being put on the kids and the family, and we say, well, people hear about it, but you don't really know about it. But my mom would detail to me how they would make a choice that the mothers and the fathers, because mostly the mothers, because the fathers came toward it, they were going to be beat anyway. But the mothers had to come and get their children out of school because they had policemen and dogs, German shepherds, across the street waiting on the children. So therefore, it was a choice. Were you going to go to the meeting to be taught how to vote, how to be able to stand, how to speak, and do the things that God said in his word, that you are more than conquerors through him that trust me. And we have to realize this. As my mom said, her mom came up before them out of school. When Frederick Douglass talked about the struggle, there's no progress. A struggle you go through life as Black Americans or as women, cancer going through the struggle, you have to know you are not alone. This is nothing new. See, the devil wants you to think that it is, but it's not. And as my mother went through, I thought about something she was saying. That as people, we have choices. You have a choice as Black Americans, and I love the Black woman, I love the Black man, to be respectful, to know that Grandma prayed for you, so why do you think that you don't have to pray when Grandma prayed for you? And parents, we have to look at this. When Frederick Douglass said it's easier to build a strong children than to repair a broken man. If you put into your Black children that they're nothing, to belittle them or put into them that they have no value, then they will grow up with that mentality. So therefore, once that mentality is set, then it's kind of hard to break it. It's just like you take a piece of plastic and you keep on bending and bending and bending and bending, and you try to turn it to a certain kind of way. What's going to happen is it's going to bend, but it's going to pop back up in a certain kind of way. So I look at the sensitivity of children. As we as Black Americans, and the reason I look at this London's Love, Care, and Share, because we have children who are going through abuse, misuse. They have parents who are going through health challenges that they don't know how to handle that. And I saw my own children that when I was going through my cancer, they didn't know how to handle that. But as a Black woman and having a Black parent who knew the struggle, my mom was able to encourage them to stand on the Word of God. And what London's Love, Care, and Share does, it encourages you to love and let you know that you are loved, that you are wanted, that you are supported. And that's important. So as we go forth on this month, I want us to know this, that in society we focus on a lot about what everybody else is doing, but we must focus on the development of our families, of our children, of those who are going through health challenges, because it doesn't have to be there, because the Bible says, so as a man thinketh, so is he. So if you think about that I'm going to die, I'm going to be this, I'm going to be that, then you're going to be exactly what you say, because there is death and power in the tongue. You bring forth life when you speak of life. So I want to give out this number about London's D. Harris Workshop Trade and Enrichment. And we have to know this is family oriented, meaning families, we have to come together, because we all go through, as I said, if there is no struggle, there's no progress. We all know the struggle is real. So what you have to focus on that. If grandma was able to make it through the challenge, if grandpa was able to make it through the challenge, and see, back then they had challenges. They don't have the advantages that you have now, the internet to connect with everybody. They don't have the cell phones. And most of us don't even take the bus. We don't even know what a bus card is. But they don't have that mentality back then to give up. So on this day, you have to know, the London's Love, the mission, it has a lot of teaches you about theater. We're intelligent. We're creative. We are business-minded. And all these things, it teaches you your hands. God has empowered you as Black men and women to be able to make a living with everything that he has within you. Your mind, your heart, your spirit. So in the London's Love, it has life skills, health and wellness, because God wants us to be healthy. Not just on the outside, not just talk about it, but on the inside and outside. Theater and arts, acting, singing, dancing. Go back in your history and look where Black music started at. Go back to Josephine Baker. Go all the way back to Billie Holiday. Can you imagine if somebody had encouraged Billie Holiday, where she might be right now? So we have to encourage one another, and that's what it does here. So I'm going to get a number again. London's Love, Care, and Share Group, 1-248-701-0885. And I'm Sister Tarace, and I want to tell you one thing that my mother told me. And as I look at her legacy of our family, she told us all this to remember this, that as a hand, if we spread out, we have no strength. But once we come together, no matter what disagreement, we come together, we have power. So you have to realize that as Black men and women, you have power, you have strength, you have a legacy to stand on. And on God's word, keep in mind of this. Proverbs 10 and 12 says this, hatred stirs up conflict, but those comes all the way. Meaning this thing, all those go all the way. God is of love. God is not of hate. When you send forth love, you will receive back love. Now, I'm not saying you're not going to have discord or people who don't like you. We all got haters. But you will be able to stand on that. If God be for you, he's more than the whole world against you. So come on out. The London D. Harris Washington Trade Enrichment Center. And I'm going to tell you, like I said, the struggle is real. I'm going to keep it real with you. Get here, be there, and power up in the name of Jesus. Be blessed.
Amen.
Excellent.
You want to say something about the radio?
Oh, I just ended it.
The camera's still on, D-Hart.
Okay, listen. Okay, I want to remind everybody. You know I get nervous, but this is the thing. You can find me on 1440 AM every Friday at 7:30 PM. And I'm all about empowering families, called the Spiritual Empowerment Show, about empowering families. I'm on Facebook, or you can reach me at oceanlove@gmail.com. Praise God. Be blessed.
Now I want to turn it.
I be nervous. That's why I be like,
Okay.
You got right to the point.
I be nervous.
It's a couple of our supporters and our students.
I really better cut that out. We slide down.
The camera's still on. Camera's still on.
Amen.
I want these two ladies to
Praise
say
God.
something because they are say something about the workshop and who you are. And
Praise the Lord.
Amen. Praise God.
Praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. I'm Apostle Dr. Charlene Brownlow, and I just love London's workshops. They're just full of life and love and joy, and we know it's good, and we know it's the Lord because the Lord tells us to follow peace. This workshop today was so eye-opening, dealing with Black History Month, and one of the exercises, activities that we had, that we are Black History now. And I just love the Lord. I love the Lord for bringing us together. You all weren't able to see all the praying that we did, and it was just wonderful. It was wonderful. Praise the Lord. Dr. Davis.
God bless you. Here at the London Harris workshop, and it's been tremendously, it's just kind of eye-opening, popping, whatever. It's really exciting. It's really exciting, and the information we get, the guests, the singing, the speaker, we have just had a joyful time, and we just, I would just like to invite somebody, if I may.
Yes.
Come on out and participate with Sister London Harris and her programs. And I'm sure, I'm not sure, I know that you would truly enjoy yourself, and you might.
How did I make it this far? Through the valleys and over the hills, I know it had to be God. How did I make it through the rain? How did I make it through the storm? If you really want to know just how I got here, it's so easy to explain. By God's grace, God's grace, God's grace, amazing grace. I made it this far by the grace of God. It was by God's grace, amazing grace, God's grace, sweet grace. I made it this far by the grace of God. Lord, I want to thank you for bringing me through the night. Lord, you never left me. You always kept me. You stood there by my side. There were times, many times, when old man death tried to wheel me in. But now I know and I understand. It's so easy to explain. It was by God's grace, amazing grace, God's grace, amazing grace. I made it this far by the grace of God. You know, there were times when I strayed even though I knew the word, I had it, still didn't want to hold me. But God's grace and mercy, it kept me, and it brought me through. Don't you know it was God's grace? Amazing grace. And God's grace, His holy grace. You know I made it this far by the grace of God. By God's grace, amazing grace, His sweet holy grace, Master's grace. I made it this far by the grace of God. Don't you know it was by God's grace, sweet grace, amazing grace, amazing grace. You see, we made it this far, we made it this far by the grace of God. Don't you know it's by God's grace? By God's grace. By God's grace.
Tell them who you are.
By God's grace.
Who are you?
Brother Clarence Joseph Jackson III, the singing man.
A little history of your singing.
Singing gospel for the last 50 years.
And you also been involved with Motown crew.
Motown Records, RCA Records, Warner Water Records.
Thank you very much. Okay, who's winning the t-shirts? So what are we doing, Irene?
We're doing the raffle.
Doing the raffle for the workshop, and one of the winners is
Dr. Davis.
All right.
Clarence Jackson III.
what do you win?
He won a t-shirt.
And he left. You want to hold that t-shirt up? Let's hold the t-shirt up so we can see what the raffle is that one of our instructors provided some gifts for our students. And that's Dr. G. Love, the young gentleman that we just...
And that's what it was, how he kept saying, I know him because...
G. Love, God's love.
London D. Harris, Washington, Trade Enrichment. The mission statement is to educate the community in theater, performing arts, music, vocal, while providing a place for local talent to shine as well as collaborate with other artists and institutions. Our other enriching courses of study include media arts, small business, mechanics, life skills, HVAC, health and wellness, event strategy. We aim to inspire and build stronger community identity by working together, encouraging qualifications for employment, careers, and entrepreneurial opportunities. Being able to obtain a stable livelihood of choice can enhance the quality of life as well as our communities. Curriculum includes media arts, video, sound, digital editing, theater and arts, acting, dance, singing, music and vocal, piano, keyboard, voice, business startup plus, DBA, corporation, etc., mechanics, car maintenance, HVAC, heating and cooling, life skills, core skills for personal management, plan, job, life, health and wellness, healthy eating and healthy cooking, special youth program, London Sophisticated Cafe, corporate etiquette training. This is an affiliate program. Workshops, selective subjects including Black History. Instructors, Irene Washington, Business and Media Arts. London D. Washington, Media Arts and Drama and Business. Darlene Bell, Music and Vocal. Sylvia Ahmed, Mechanics. Vicki Cummings, Life Skills. Curtis Grant, Business. John D. Milburn, HVAC, owner of J. Milburn Mechanical. Associated Instructors, Caleb Foster, Media Arts owner of WJVC 1320 AM. Yodeo Maycock, Health and Wellness, Jackie Duncan, Various Subjects, Michelle Felina, Event Coordinating, Barbara Cooper, Life Skills, Tarace Hurston, Cancer Survivor, Associated Lecturer for Health and Wellness and Life Skills, Operations, Renee Burright, Assisting in Administration. Our Youth Training Workshop, 6 weeks. Our youth learned courtesy skills, teamwork, public speaking, greeting and escorting, directing how to set a dinner table, how to serve food to the public, dressing uniform, and more, all corporate style. After the training session, London's Sophisticated Cafe had a formal affair Friday, August 20th, 2016 at the International Institute of Detroit, Michigan. We acknowledge them for their work and commitment by Michigan State politician Representative Sherry Gay Degnogo, who gave them all awards. Also, Detroit City Councilman George Cushingberry and ADI Entertainment. A great plus, our youth were paid at the end of the program, so this was a job for them as well. This workshop is ongoing. Classes include learning how to greet and direct the public, assisting the elderly or disabled guest, how to serve the public with courtesy and respect, teamwork, how to set a dinner table, how to serve food at a table, public speaking, how to verbally greet. Colonel John D. Milburn, Assistant Director of Youth Training, Cassandra Arnold, Youth Training Assistant, London D. Washington, Founder and Director of Youth Training. London D. Harris Washington, Trade Enrichment. Selective subjects include Black History, Harriet Tubman, Frederick Douglass, Martin Luther King Jr., President Barack Obama II, Paul Robeson, Black Bottom, Della Reese, Duke Ellington, Aretha Franklin, Al Allen, Fox 2 News, Colonel John D. Milburn, Wynton Marsalis, Beyonce, Hidden Figures, ADI Actors in Entertainment and Enterprise Group, Reverend James W. G. Harris Sr., World War II, Bishop James and Annie Harris Sr., Maddie Foreman, London's grandmother, her mother's mother, Temptation VIP, the film made in Detroit, Caleb Foster, London. ADI Actors in Entertainment Club and Enterprise Group. ADI Actors in Entertainment and Enterprise Group is an affiliate learning. We act in film, television, and plays. Temptation VIP, the film, premiered in November 2013. Secrets in the Closet premiered December 2016 and 2017. The place called The Church and Relationship Symposium underway. London D. Harris Washington, Trade Enrichment. Founder, London Doris E. Harris Washington. She's been working in the community and business for almost 3 decades and has a nonprofit 501c3 organization. Her career is in business and mass media since 1990. Professional vocalist and musically inclined since childhood. Certified in business. Attended University of Cincinnati. Obtained associate degree at WC3D. Studied mass communication 2.5 years at Wayne State University and continuing trade and works in the medical field. Ordained in ministry for 23 years. London D. Harris Washington Trade Enrichment Advisory Team. Jacqueline Duncan, Professor at WCCCD. Michelle Felina, Professional Event Coordinator. Irene, co-owner of CBiz TV. Caleb Foster, owner of WCVG 1320. Bishop James and Annie Harris Sr., Community Choir. Associated, Extracurricular. Darlene Bell, Music and Vocal, Recording Artist. London, Music, Vocal, Recording Artist, Producer. Sarah Riddle Jackson, Vocal, Recording Artist. James Hawkins, Music, Vocal. Portions of funds will be forwarded to pay our instructors and staff. Also, a portion will be forwarded to London's Love, Care and Share, Cancer, MS, and Major Diseases Support Group. Thank you for viewing this information concerning London D. Harris Washington Trade Enrichment. We are accepting financial donations and endorsements. You can see more information and history of the many affiliated projects and programs. Website www.americasdtventertainment.com or ADI Entertainment. You can call us to donate or inquire, or donate online at link ADI. Tax exempt. You can also see some of our television dramas at our YouTube channel at Londen, Washington, or see all of our shows at youtube.com. Follow the channel link below. Email londendorse@gmail.com. Contact 248-701-0885. Currently, our class locations include International Institute of Detroit and Performing Arts Center. Our goal is to obtain our own facility. Thank you.